Namaskar, good afternoon to all of you. I, on behalf of India Meteorological Department, welcome all our friends from press and electronic media to this press conference. Today, we will be releasing the seasonal outlook for temperature over the country during the period March to May, and also during the month of March. It will include the forecast for maximum temperature as well as the minimum temperature expected over the country. We'll also release the rainfall expected and its probability distribution for the country for the month of March. I will share the PPT. Please bear with me for 1 minute. I hope my slides are visible, Hoselkarji. No, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Is it moving?
Sir, yes, sir. It is moving, sir, also.
Fine. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So to begin with, I just want to have a brief statement about the observed temperature during February 2022. Now, this is the spatial pattern of the maximum temperature, the minimum temperature, and the mean temperature over the country during the month of February. So what you find actually on the left-hand corner diagram, that is maximum temperature, you can find that the temperatures are usually low in the month of February. But if you compare with the temperature normally expected in the month of February, that is just the diagram below, you will find that the maximum temperature has been above normal over many parts of northwest and adjoining west central India, represented here in the form of the yellow color or light yellow color. At the same time, along the Indo-Gangetic plains, or you can say Gangetic plains especially, adjacent to foothills of the Himalayas, and parts of eastern India and parts of northeastern states had the temperature below normal. So maximum temperature has been above normal over west central and parts of northwest India, and has been below normal over Gangetic plains, eastern India, and some parts of northeastern states. It has been near normal over remaining parts of the country. Now, if you just look at the minimum temperature, you will find that the minimum temperature, as usual, has been distributed with lower temperature to the northern parts and higher temperature towards the southern parts of the country. But comparing with the normal temperature, you can find out the anomaly map in the middle below. It also indicates that the minimum temperature has been the above normal over many parts of northwest and west central India, even some parts of the Gangetic plains, and southern parts of the peninsular India, especially Tamil Nadu and Kerala. It has been below normal only on few pockets in eastern India, east central India, northern peninsula, and the northeastern states. If I compare the average of both maximum temperature and minimum temperature, you will find that it has been below normal on northern parts of the country, roughly to the north of 20° north or 22° north, and it has been above normal to the southern parts of the country. So specific, if I just say our extreme southern parts, especially Kerala and Tamil Nadu, it is above normal, and west and northwest India, it has become the above normal temperature for the month of February. Now let us have a look about the forecast what we issued for the month of February, the temperature forecast. The left-hand side diagram shows the observed maximum temperature in the month of February, and right-hand side indicates the forecast maximum temperature for the month of February. Our forecast was that over most parts of the country, there was probability of temperature being below normal. And if you just look at the left-hand side diagram, you will find that temperature, which is represented by the blue color, has been below normal over most parts of the country. So if I compare both the diagrams, what I find that we could predict reasonably well about the below normal temperature over most parts of the country, except some parts of northwest India, especially the western Rajasthan, where temperature has been above normal, but prediction was below normal. But however, if you see the country as a whole, the forecast was more or less reasonably accurate. Now coming to the minimum temperature in the month of February and its forecast, left-hand side diagram is the actual minimum temperature in the month of February, and right-hand side is the minimum temperature outlook for the month of February. So we predicted that there is probability of above normal temperature over southern parts of the country, especially Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Andhra Pradesh. And actually also it happened so in South Andhra Pradesh, some parts of Rayalaseema and Tamil Nadu, and here in Kerala and adjoining South Karnataka had the above normal temperature. As we predicted that most parts of the country in the north and central will have the below normal temperature. Same thing happened if you just compare on the left-hand side diagram. So therefore, temperature forecast, both maximum and minimum, if you just look at for the month of February, based on the multimodal ensemble forecasting scheme of India Meteorological Department, has come out reasonably correct. Now looking at the rainfall during the month of January and February, you'll find that this year, January has been excessively rainy. It has been, for the country as a whole, it was 129% above normal rainfall. And it was above normal over all the homogeneous regions like Northwest India, East and Northeast India, Central India, and South Peninsula. And it was more so over the Central India with 203% above normal in the month of January. But opposite was the case in the month of February. In the month of February, we did not have good rainfall activity. It was below normal for the country as a whole, 18.6%, or like 19% below normal temperature in the country as a whole in the month of February. If you just look at different homogeneous regions like Northwest, Central, South Peninsula, and East and Northeast India, it has been above normal over East and Northeast India and below normal over remaining homogeneous regions. Now, if I consider the cumulative seasonal rainfall from 1 January to 28 February, the deficient rainfall what occurred in the month of February could not compensate the excess rainfall in the month of January. As a result, the season ended as an excess season. For the country as a whole, it was 44% above normal rainfall for the cumulative rainfall during January and February. And similar was the case for all the homogeneous regions like Northwest, East and Northeast, Central, and South Peninsula. The rainfall has been above normal for the winter season. Now, if you just look at the heavy rainfall events in the month of February, usually we do not expect heavy rainfall events in the month of February, but sometimes because of the active easterly waves, we can have the heavy rainfall events over Andaman Nicobar Islands, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and the adjoining Southern Peninsula. Otherwise, in association with the western disturbances, sometimes we get heavy rainfall activity or heavy snowfall activity over the coastal Himalayan region and adjoining northern plains and northeastern states. But this year, if I compare, there was no very heavy rainfall activity or extremely heavy rainfall activity during February 2022. And if I compare the previous years, very heavy rainfall occurred in 2021 and in 2019. So 2022, there was no as against the 2019 and 2021. If we consider the heavy rainfall, the total number of heavy rainfall events were 15 in 2022 against quite high figure in 2019, about 82, and then the 18 each in 20 and 2021, and 12 in 2018. So I'll say that this year the heavy rainfall activity has been subdued as compared to the recent past 3 years. And distribution, if you just look at, as I was telling you, the most of the heavy rainfall events has been confined to extreme southern peninsula like Tamil Nadu and Kerala, and otherwise the northern parts of the country, especially Jammu division and Gangetic plains. Now, if you just consider the damage associated what has happened in the month of February, it was not so much destructive. And as for the newspaper reports, there was a snowfall activity and 7 people died in Arunachal Pradesh in association with the western disturbance passing over the region. Now, if you just look at the global circulation features and accordingly the sea surface temperature departures and El Nino and southern oscillation conditions over the Pacific, at present, as it has been seen in this diagram, you can find out this ellipse shown in the red color that indicates the area which is the East Equatorial Pacific. And this East Equatorial Pacific is colder than the normal sea surface temperature, as compared to the West Pacific is warmer. So if I calculate the average temperature for different Nino regions, that is Nino 4, Nino 3.4, Nino 3, and Nino 1+2, I find that it is minus 0.6 over the Nino 3.4. That means moderate La Nina conditions are prevailing over the equatorial Pacific region. When temperature over western equatorial Pacific is higher and it is less over the eastern equatorial Pacific, it is La Nina conditions. And when opposite occurs, it is called as El Nino conditions. So if I just see the evolution, what has happened during past 4 weeks, during last 4 weeks, equatorial sea surface temperatures were below average across East Central and Eastern Pacific Ocean and the Eastern Atlantic Ocean. Equatorial sea surface temperatures were above normal in the Western Pacific Ocean. So which correspondingly gives the average temperature of minus 0.6. That is 0.6 degrees Celsius below the normal temperature over 3.4. I have highlighted a Nino 3.4 because Nino 3.4 is very much associated with the activities over the Indian region. Now, if I look at the Pacific subsurface temperature, that means the temperature in the water just below the surface. There also what we find that negative anomaly, that means below normal temperature, have weakened and are near average. It is becoming near average. You can find out in this diagram. It was quite below normal. Temperature of the subsurface water was quite below normal, but gradually that temperature has decreased, below normal temperature decreased. Now it is becoming almost near normal, as you can be seen here. So what does it indicate? That subsurface water is warming up. Subsurface water is warming up. That means the La Nina condition which is prevailing, that will not sustain for a longer period. During the last 2 months, positive and negative subsurface temperature anomalies have shifted also eastwards. From this diagram, you can just see here, in the top it is March 2021, this is February 2022. So what you find actually, in August 2021, for example, this was the warming here, and this is the cooling here, and this is the pattern from West Equatorial Pacific to East Equatorial Pacific if we just go. But by the month of February, what you find actually, this warming is extending towards the east. It is extending towards the eastern parts of Equatorial Pacific Ocean. That means it is helping in warming of the water along the Pacific and extension or spread towards the east. Now, if you consider the consider the monsoon mission climate forecast system of Minister of Power Sciences or India Meteorological Department with the condition of February, what we find that it is also depicting the same thing what we discussed in the previous slide, and you can find out that below normal temperature over the east equatorial Pacific and above normal temperature in the west equatorial Pacific, and hence the La Nina conditions are prevailing at present, and our forecast suggests that La Nina conditions likely to continue during March to May 22 season. And if I just calculate the average of 3 months continuously, March, April, May, this blue line, the blue bar indicates the La Nina conditions, and the green bar indicates the neutral conditions, and the red bar indicates the El Nino conditions. So what does it indicate actually? The probability of La Nina conditions to continue in the March, April, May, and April, May, June accordingly are evident as per the monsoon mission climate forecast system. So this is another ensemble diagram. It shows that how the temperature is expected to behave in the coming months. So how does it indicate? Actually, the forecast indicates that La Nina conditions will continue. Now, if I just look at various international models, that also indicates that La Nina expected to continue throughout Northern Hemisphere spring 2022. A transition to ensure neutral condition is favored in May to July 2022. So that means during this summer, we can expect the La Nina conditions, and thereafter it will be neutral conditions as we move towards the middle of the monsoon month. Now, if you look at another circulation picture that is called as Indian Ocean Dipole, what you find that various models are indicating that prevailing neutral Indian Ocean Dipole conditions to continue. Now, if you look at this is the zero line, this is normal, and minus 0.4 to plus 0.4 is also considered as a normal or neutral Indian Ocean Dipole conditions. So you see that all these models, starting from Bureau of Meteorology to UK Met Office and Meteo France and European Center model, all these models are indicating that by May 2022, there will be neutral in the conditions. Now, similarly, if you just look at the ensemble forecast of the Indian Ocean Dipole, that's also indicating that neutral IOD conditions are most probable during the season of March to May. Now, this is the monsoon mission forecast system of Minister of Power Sciences. This also indicates that neutral Indian Ocean Dipole conditions are prevailing at present, and these neutral IOD conditions are likely to continue during March to May. Now let us come to the probabilistic forecast for temperature for the season March to May 2022. On left hand side, you will find the diagram for minimum temperature forecast, and right hand side it is the maximum temperature forecast. Let us come to minimum temperature forecast. If I just look at the minimum temperature forecast, there are three types of probability depicted here. One is above normal probability, shown as yellow, orange, red. The normal probability, shown as green or deep green. Below normal probability, shown as light blue to deep blue. So what you find in this diagram, there is no such color as light blue or deep blue except Gangtok or Sikkim area. That means there is very low probability for temperature to be below normal. But on the other hand, if you just look at yellow, orange, red colors are quite well spread, especially over northern parts of the country. So our forecast is that the minimum temperature during March to May is expected to be above normal for most parts of northwest India, western India, and also the northeastern states and east coast of the country. And normal temperature is expected over the eastern India, including southern parts of West Bengal, up to southeast Uttar Pradesh and some parts of northern parts of Madhya Pradesh, and interior peninsula and southern peninsula, including Kerala. So this is the minimum temperature forecast. If I just look at the maximum temperature, you will find that it is indicating that there could be above normal maximum temperature over Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh, and also the major part of Rajasthan, Gujarat, and adjoining areas of Maharashtra and southwest Madhya Pradesh. We can also expect above normal temperature over extreme northeastern parts of the country like East Arunachal Pradesh, Northeast Assam, Nagaland, and Manipur area. Otherwise, the remaining parts of the country, we are expecting below normal maximum temperature or normal maximum temperature. Mainly the central parts of the country, especially central, we can expect normal maximum temperature, and peninsular India can have the below normal maximum temperature. Now, let us analyze the impact of this the forecast if we can have the higher maximum temperature over parts of northwest India and west central India. We can interpret that the probability of occurrence of the heat waves over the west central and some parts of northwest India could be higher. But however, the Indo-Gangetic plains, which is indicating the blue color here, will have the below normal temperature probability, and hence the heat wave conditions are not likely to be higher than the normal over the Indo-Gangetic plains. Now let us come to the forecast temperature for the month of March. On the left hand side, it is the minimum temperature forecast. On the right hand side, it is the maximum temperature forecast. Now, if I just look at the minimum temperature forecast, what I find that most parts of the country will have the probability of below normal or normal minimum temperatures, except southeast peninsular India, especially Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, and Andhra Pradesh, and the coastal and Ghat areas of Maharashtra, where we can have the above normal minimum temperatures. On the other hand, if I just look at the maximum temperature forecast for the month of March, it indicates that we can expect above normal maximum temperature in the month of March across the central part of the country and adjoining northern peninsula, starting with Odisha to Maharashtra and Gujarat, southern parts of Madhya Pradesh, and southern parts of Rajasthan. Climatologically, if we just look at the region of maximum temperature in the month of March, this is the region starting with South Odisha to Maharashtra and adjoining Gujarat. This area gets higher maximum temperature in the month of March. So therefore, if we interpret the maximum temperature forecast for the month of March, I will say that the region which conventionally gets higher temperature will have the probability of getting higher temperature compared to normal this year in the month of March, starting with South Odisha to South Rajasthan and Gujarat, across Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and Maharashtra. Now, coming to the rainfall forecast for the month of March 2022, what we find actually the rainfall average over the country for the month of March is most likely to be normal rainfall. Long period average for the rainfall in the month of March is 30.4 mm. That means only just 3 centimeters of rainfall. So therefore, all of us should be very cautious while interpreting the rainfall activity in the month of March, because it is very highly variable, and therefore randomness is quite high and predictability therefore is quite less. Now, below normal rainfall is most likely for most parts of northwest India and adjoining central India, extended towards the east also. But we can expect normal to above normal rainfall activity over southern parts of the country, up to say South Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu area, and also some parts of the eastern and northeastern states, especially some parts of Bihar, West Bengal, and Sikkim, and some parts of Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura, Meghalaya, where we can expect normal to above normal rainfall. Otherwise, remaining parts of the country, there is a probability of below normal rainfall activity. Here, yellow and orange color indicates below normal rainfall activity, and light blue to blue color indicates the above normal rainfall activity, and light green to deep green color indicates the normal rainfall activity. That's what is the long range forecast. And as all of us know that we follow up long range forecast with the external range forecast. The external forecast is showed last week, if you remember. And this was the forecast. And what we expect for the coming week, that the enhanced rainfall activity over Tamil Nadu and adjoining areas because of a low pressure area which is now lying over southeast Bay of Bengal, and is expected to move west-northwest towards Sri Lanka coast, and hence from 3rd and 4th we can expect heavy to very heavy rainfall activity over Tamil Nadu and adjoining areas. And thereafter, because of the season progress and heating ocean, the northeast states and adjoining eastern India are expected to experience thunderstorm activity, and hence the rainfall activity you can expect in the week 11 March to 17 March. And thereafter, below normal activity for the country, or no much activity for the country in the week 18 March, 24 March. If I look at the temperature, minimum temperature and maximum temperature anomaly for 4 weeks. So what we find that the minimum temperature and maximum temperatures are expected to be below normal or near normal over many parts of the country, except northwest India and west central India, where temperatures are expected to be the above normal, as it can be seen in the color code of yellow, orange, and red. The blue colors are indicating the below normal temperatures. Similarly, if I consider the maximum temperature, it is indicating that for the week 4th March to 10th March, we can expect above normal maximum temperature over most parts of northwest India and some parts of central India, across northern parts of MP, northern parts of Chhattisgarh and Odisha, and some parts of North Andhra Pradesh. We can expect the below normal temperature, maximum temperature, in remaining parts of the country. Now, this is the 5-day warning. As I was telling you, we are expecting that low pressure area impact over southern parts of peninsula, especially Tamil Nadu, Puducherry area. Therefore, we are expecting heavy to very heavy rainfall, as well as strong winds near the coast, especially starting with 3rd till 5th. Apart from that, we can expect some isolated activities for remaining parts of over this northwest India, like Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, in association with the western disturbances on 1st and 2nd, followed by on 3rd. So there are 2 systems now for the next 5 days. One is the western disturbance, which is expected to move across northwest India. Another one is the low pressure area, now located over southeast Bay of Bengal, to move towards Sri Lanka coast and hence cause rainfall activity over southern peninsula. So thank you. We can take the questions now. If you have any questions, you can ask.
सर मैं चरण सिंह।
बोलिए सिंह साहब।
सर अभी जैसे समर सीजन अप्रोच हो रहा है, जो आपने मार्च के लिए बताया, पूरे सीजन के लिए बताया, तो जस्ट आपका एक एडवाइस का जरूरत है कि मीडिया को ब्रीफ करते समय हमें किन बातों का ध्यान रखना है इस समर के लिए।
So at present, the forecast which is being issued by IMD is impact-based forecast, and while on day-to-day basis we issue the probability of occurrence of heat wave, will indicate the expected heat wave conditions, the time of occurrence and place of occurrence, and also its impact as per the heat action plan finalized by National Disaster Management Authority. In the extended range forecast, if we are expecting any rise in temperature and heat wave conditions, then also we can intimate in terms of the hot spells or cold spells. Now, the interpretation of the long range forecast, what I discussed now, that indicates that for the month of March, there is no expectation of heat wave over the northern plains of the country. only the above normal maximum temperature can be expected over the region climatologically which gets the higher maximum temperature in the month of March. And that region is Gujarat, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and Odisha and northern parts of Andhra Pradesh. So there this year we can expect the above normal temperature. So if that is the case, normally whatever heat wave conditions we get in the month of March in this area, this year we can expect slightly higher frequent heat wave conditions in this area for the month of March.
जी सर, कई साल ऐसा देखा गया था ना, मैं उस कंसर्न पूछा कि गुजरात का जो वेस्टर्न पार्ट्स है, राजस्थान का साउथ वेस्टर्न पार्ट्स है, तो मार्च के स्टार्टिंग में वहाँ हीट वेव जैसी कंडीशन डेवलप हो जाती हैं। तो जैसा अभी आपने एडवाइस किया, तो हमें डे टू डे मॉनिटरिंग में उनको कवर करके रखना है।
Yes. So as already service provider, the forecasters in IMD should be assessed and should monitor continuously, and as and when they find the information at the earliest, it should be provided to the public. One more thing I just want to mention here, from this year, we will have entire heat wave warning system in the geospatial platform, which has been developed from last year. And that geospatial platform will indicate the temperature distribution, its departure from the normal, not only for the day, for last 5 days and coming 5 days. It also provides whether the temperature is expected to exceed the extremes in the past. It will also provide the expected impact on the public and various sectors.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay. So if there is no questions, then we'll.
So good afternoon. This is Anjali from the Indian Express, Pune.
Yes, please, madam.
Yes, I wanted to know the possible impact of the continuing La Nina conditions for the upcoming summer. And second question is, February did not see much of snowfall activity in the extreme northern regions of the country. What could be the possible reasons for that? Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you, madam. Actually, I will go one by one. If we look at the climatological relationship of La Nina and the temperatures, it has been established that during El Nino years, the frequency and intensity of heat wave is high over the Indian region. And during La Nina years, the frequency and intensity of heat wave is less than normal. So since it is a La Nina year, we can say that the impact on heat wave will be less. But I must tell you that heat wave or cold wave does not depend upon only one parameter. Say, for example, I'll go to the La Nina conditions this year. And as and when you have got La Nina conditions, you can expect more cold wave as per climatology. But this year, if you just look at the period December, January, and February, we did not have that type of any severe cold wave conditions in the country. So that clearly indicates that La Nina or El Nino is a parameter, but not the only parameter to decide the heat wave or the cold wave intensity and the frequency. Now, next question, that if you look at this year, we did have some western disturbances, and it caused good rainfall activity as it moved towards the eastern parts, especially the East UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha, and northeastern state. They could get above normal rainfall activity or normal rainfall activity. But the western disturbance itself was not so intense to cause any significant or higher snowfall activity for the western Himalayan region. The induced circulation in association with the system could get some rainfall activity across the plains, and hence there was some impact. So basically, the lower than normal snowfall activity what we saw in the winter season is because of the fact that we did not have very intense western disturbances passing over the region.
Thank you, sir.
Mohapatra, this is Vincent Kurian speaking to you from Trivandrum.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if the absence of, the possibility of the lesser possibility of heat waves over the northwest and adjoining central parts of India can be construed to mean that we will have better clouding, and more of western disturbances coming in during this month and the next.
If you look at the maximum temperature forecast issued today, that indicates that there is possibility of above normal temperature over Rajasthan, Gujarat, northern parts of Maharashtra, some parts of West Madhya Pradesh,
Correct.
and also over Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Ladakh area. But if you look at the plans starting from Punjab, Haryana, UP, Bihar, and West Bengal, and northern parts of Odisha, that is expected to have the below normal probability of the maximum temperature. So what does it indicate actually? That there could be some influence of the western disturbances in the northern plains, but those western disturbances may not be so frequent and so intense. Because if you look at the rainfall forecast what we issued, that indicates the rainfall is expected to be below normal for entire northwest India. That means western disturbance will not be so active over northwest India in the period March to May.
Okay. Oh, great. Okay. I was just wondering what will go to, promise as lesser number of intense heat waves. Of course, we have a La Nina working behind as during this season. But I was just wondering if western disturbances running into the next month also could be one reason for this. But as you said, we have actually forecast lesser rainfall for this particular region, which explains the fact that we will not have the extended cloud cover over the region. Thank you, Mohapatra.
Of course, Vincentji, of course, I told you the rainfall forecast for the month of March. We have not issued rainfall forecast for the month of March to May.
Okay, fine.
Because in this season, the rainfall intensity is not so high and the variability is quite high. Therefore, there is no point in predicting rainfall. So we have not attempted for that. But monthly rainfall forecast, what we issued every month, that we are continuing and that we have issued. So there will be many factors in between which is dynamically captured by the coupled forecasting system, which may not be able to be interpreted just at a glance. So while we will be monitoring on day-to-day basis in extended range, perhaps it will be in a better position to interpret the interactions. But large-scale feature, as we discussed, it is La Nina conditions. Therefore, impact on heat wave is expected to be less. But nevertheless, I am telling that we are expecting above normal temperature in month of March over the region where usually we get higher temperature. So therefore, you can expect heat wave conditions over the area like South Odisha, Chhattisgarh, northern parts of Maharashtra, southern parts of Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat. So this area usually gets it gets heater in the month of March because as the sun progresses. And in this area, only the forecast says that it will be over normal. So therefore, we should be prepared for heated conditions over these parts of the country, starting with South Odisha, North Andhra Pradesh, to Maharashtra, Gujarat, and adjoining Rajasthan. The other thing is that also we should be prepared for the heated condition during the season for Northwest India, especially Rajasthan, Gujarat, some parts of UP, some parts of Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and northern parts of Maharashtra. That is also indicating the above normal temperature for the period March to May.
Okay, do you think this is a good enough reason to expect a reasonably good monsoon? Because this region has to heat up to the normal or even to the abnormal level to get us a good monsoon, to set up the pressure gradient from the south. So this should be, good augury for the southwest monsoon, which we are actually tracking. You must have already started tracking the monsoon progress.
Kurian Sahib, it is, I will say it is too early to speak about monsoon, but still I will say that as per the El Nino or La Nina forecast, if you just look at this year, at present it is La Nina conditions, and La Nina condition is expected to continue until the end of the spring. That means 1 or 2 months again, and then it is expected that it will moving towards the neutral conditions. So El Nino condition is ruled out. There is no doubt that there would not be El Nino conditions during the monsoon season. So that is a good signal that we will not have the El Nino conditions during this monsoon season as per the forecast.
Yeah. Okay. And just one more question, Mohapatra ji. What do you make of this low pressure area in the southeast Bay of Bengal? Is it too early for the season, for the pre-monsoon season?
Yeah, usually in the month of January and February, we do not get the low pressure systems, but it is not ruled out. Sometimes we can get a low pressure area, and we are expecting that we expected this low pressure area development according to predicted, and it has occurred. Last evening we declared it as a low pressure area, but it is though rare, it is not unnatural, I would say.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time, Mohapatra ji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, thank you very much for your patience and your presence in this video conferencing. And we all work together so far to extend the weather and climate services to the public and disaster managers. In the future also we'll work together, and we need your support always. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, DGM sir, for this your time and presentation, and thanks to all participants and media also. And definitely there will be information available on the website, all IMD website in detail, and the press release also would be there. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.